Just looking at something that was shot back in 2017 with Elon Musk, over the last 5 years, actually nothing has significantly changed.
Cost of power is making it almost a luxury item.
Wow. Really?
That is the perfect response. Wow, really? In Australia, one of the richest countries in the world, with the most abundant resources, we should all be saying, wow, really? I mean, this is mismanagement on every level of government for an extended period of time.
I didn't realize it's that expensive. Australia has so many natural resources. I mean, even if you go the fossil fuel route, the electricity should be very cheap.
Elon Musk's on the money here. If you've been watching any of my other videos, you would have seen me say exactly the same thing. Australia is probably the most energy abundant country in the world. We have abundant solar, plenty of wind, quite a decent hydro. The mix on renewables is strong. And then, as he says, go into the fossil fuels, we've got more high quality coal than anyone in the world. We've got huge amounts of natural gas. We've got energy everywhere. We just haven't tapped it. And I think we've got to really question ourselves as individuals, as corporations, and certainly as government. We need to be questioning ourselves. How can we get ourselves into this position? One of the things I think about when it comes to energy poverty is that probably the policymakers, they're not living in that sector of society. They're engineers, they're statisticians and well-educated people who are making decisions on some pretty big infrastructure and financial basis. And just because of that world in which they live in, which is a highly professional world, they're so disconnected from the reality that, half of Australia is probably living in. When the average wage is sub $100,000, these key decision makers will be making hundreds of thousands of dollars as their base wage. And so, you obviously have this curve of wealth that, at the bottom of the distribution curve, people are just living to work and working to live at the most basic level, and energy is one of those things.
For Musk, it's frustrating because for him, the solution is so simple and in abundance in Australia.
Yeah. So the solution is abundance, right? Through energy is very much a commodity, supply and demand driven, right? So let's produce an abundant amount of energy that will force the cost down for everyone. That's the solution. That's what we're part of, and that's what Australia could be doing. I guess the question is for all of us to ask is, where's the gap? And I think probably pointing directly at energy policy over the last 2 decades, maybe even 3 decades. Looking back it tells us how we got into our situation. I guess the real question is now, what do we do about it? And energy security is something that I think we need to take into our own hands. Energy security is something that we can't leave for the government to solve for us. And if you don't move, you're going to find yourself wondering why you're paying so much for power.